Fiscal Court meeting to order.
That's what you think.
It is 6 o'clock. It is 5/22/25, the 22nd day of May. We have some guests that I'd like to recognize. We have Mr. Rick Toney with the Georgetown Scott County Housing Authority, our new executive director, and been on the job now about 6 months. January, so about 5 months. Welcome. Have met with Mr. Toney and discussed, some affordable housing initiatives and thoughts. So appreciate having you here tonight. Also, we have Mr. Keith Tingle with the Scott County Soil Conservation District, and welcome, Keith. Glad to have you here. And then Commissioner Dale Perry from Stamping Ground is here as well. So welcome. So we will move forward with our agenda. Before we get there, though, I'd like to ask everyone to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Hamilton, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hostetler.
Present.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Wallace.
Here.
Mr. Corman.
Present.
Mr. Ellison.
Here.
Mr. Pratt.
Here.
Mr. Livingston.
Here.
Mr. Culbertson.
Here.
Judge Covington.
Present. Thank you. Let the record reflect we have a quorum that we can conduct business. We will move to number 4, the minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion.
We have a motion from David Livingston and a second from Rick Hostetler. Any other questions or comments related to those as presented?
That second was from Rob.
I am
close
so
enough.
sorry. So make sure that's correct. Second from Rob. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, transfers. And those were shared out, and this is an extensive list of transfers. Michelle worked very diligently to make sure that we would get through June 30th and not have any issues. So with being able to provide services and such. So with that said, are there any questions related to the transfers as presented? Motion from Rick Hostetler. Second from David Livingston again. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Bills and hand checks as presented. Motion. Second from Mr. Wallace. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. With that said, I am now going to ask to move off the scheduled agenda, and I'm going to ask Mr. Tingle. Mr. Tingle is going to just give a brief update from the Soil Conservation District. You have some information that he shared prior to the meeting.
You always get that big packet and the budget, and if you're like me, when you're looking at that stuff, you're wondering what actually is that dollar going for. We were kind enough today to come up with a real nice little breakdown of where your money goes. Very little bit of ours goes for administration, less than 25% of everything we receive. Actually, when you look at all the flow-through monies, we were working on less than 10% of the monies that go through our office. Most of our monies, most of these programs you will see goes back to the farmers, or in the first list that you have on that page, you'll see they go back to the residents of Scott County who may or may not be farmers. So all of our money is flow through. What you give us, we give out, basically, and we appreciate that. Just let you know some things that are coming up. And normally we do this at the Harvest Festival we have in September, and you are all invited to be there. Last year you couldn't because of a work session, but plan on coming this year. One of the things we're working on is we want to move forward even more with the planning and zoning stakeholders for agriculture. That's a nice document.
So, Keith, just to give you an update, Holden will be here from Planning and Zoning for the June work session, just to share an update and kind of give us a jumping off point to where we can go from there. Appreciate your all's the supervisors being involved in that, you yourself being involved in that, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
You're
I wanted
fine.
to tell you.
Because we won't keep that thing active. It is a good work, and it just needs to be kept on forward and moving a little bit forward. So we'll be working on that ourselves and using it in the community. The second thing we're working on, and pardon the terms, but the dam. We still have people who would love to save that Great Crossings Dam. And one of our supervisors found out that a similar thing was going on in, I don't know if it's Indiana or Ohio, but the court put an injunction on the destruction of the dam based upon, and it was a very similar dam, the use of it for agriculture and community and recreation purposes. We don't know if that's coming down. Right now, if you know anything about it, it's before the Army Corps of Engineers for approval. We hate to see it go, and it is serving a purpose, more than just fish. And basically, the money that came into Fish and Wildlife, if you all remember our first meeting with them, was basically to help smallmouth bass. You go down there and look, and you can catch a plenty good group of largemouth bass right now, if you know what you're doing. So we would like to see the dam saved, and you'll hear from part of my members on that one from time to time. Third thing that's kind of impacting us right now is the concept of the RV park over on South End, or South Elkhorn. We've done some research into it, and if that thing goes through, the impact on that part of South Elkhorn would be like moving either Stamping Ground or Sadieville and putting it right there on the creek. Runoff, things of that nature is inevitable. It would change the whole nature of South Elkhorn. So we're concerned about that. So you'll see us working on those three things besides all the rest of this. As I say, we have the dinner coming in September. Love to see you there. If you show up there, I don't have to show up here. And we feed you in the process.
So Keith,
yes,
back
sir.
to number 3.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware that the Scott County Fiscal Court put in place a moratorium for any RV park applications, and a group of a couple of our magistrates are working with some citizens and some staff from planning and zoning to really redo a draft RV park ordinance.
We want to see that. We will be happy to put our 2 cents in.
And there is no, from as far as I'm aware, Mr. Wallace, Mr. Jones have been up there. I don't know if Rick's, but there is no pending application for any RV park.
Good.
So
we had not got that information right now.
So
we knew that they had been taken off the immediate picture, but we didn't know that we had a.
There's a moratorium in place as we work on the ordinance, and there is no pending applications.
If we can be of help with that, we will be happy to be of help with that.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments or questions for Keith? Keith, we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
letting me be here.
No, thank you very much. With that said, we will go to Road Department bid resurfacing various county roads. Ask JR to join us at the podium, and appreciate all of his work throughout the year, night and day, good weather, bad weather. The proposed in our draft budget, the proposed roads to repave 25-26 include Morgan Manor Drive, which is 0.68 mile, Helm Court 0.03, Lena Court 0.07, Stonehorse Lane at 0.28, Cane Run at 4.10 is a larger consideration. Locust Grove at 0.313, Cedarville Road at 2.569, Harbor Village Drive at .750, Lakeside Drive .40, and Sims at 2.450, total of 12.1. Usually we're right around 10, so we've committed a little extra funds to address these needs, and JR works very diligently at checking roads, grading them out, and making a proposal that best meets the needs and addresses roads that need upgrading and repaving. So with that said, that brings us to the bids, and I'll let JR talk about the bids that we received. One bid from Hamilton Hinkle.
We took bids for the asphalt paving on all these county roads, and had one bid, Hamilton Hinkle Paving, and they came in, and it's been 2 years since we bid this. When we put the bids out, Miss Hamilton and myself has kind of worked with the vendors on not having to bid these out every year, so upon approval of the county and the contractors have extended it a year. That's what we do. So,
Okay.
So this is 2 years ago. Base was $79 per ton, and 2 years ago it was $75.50, so it increased. And surface was $79 a ton 2 years ago, and it went to $81 per ton this year. The labor, tack oil is $3.75 per gallon. It stayed the same for 2 years. And the labor went from $27.50 a ton 2 years ago to $30 per ton for putting it in place this year. So labor actually increased some, and the surface and base went up a little bit.
Questions or comments?
Clarifying question. So last meeting, we voted on the base at $70,
Yes, we did.
and 81. So what is the tack, leaven, what, like, is it,
Level and wedge
and
is,
this class 2 bituminous, I don't, I'm.
By 2 minutes.
By 2 minutes.
level and wedge is, if you
So
go.
this is separate from the 79 and the 81?
Yes, this is for resurfacing.
Yes.
Okay, this is just resurfacing.
Yes, I was just making a comparison how things has went up from 2 years ago a little bit. But you level and wedge with base. If you got a dip in the road or something or a bad spot, that's what they call level and wedge. The tack oil is a sticky, oily substance that makes the bonding process bond better on the new surface that you put down.
Any other question?
Was this gonna be for 2 years, JR, or just a 1 year?
Providing everything is
We have
good
to
next.
rate it every year, but we have to make sure they agree.
Okay.
And you gotta bid these out separately, the labor and the surface and base, because you may get a bidder that comes in here to bid on putting it down and say, well, where am I gonna get the material at? So it's kinda a twofold process here.
And don't you, by doing it that way also, you're getting it lower than if you use state contract with Hamilton Hinkle too, aren't you? Because Hamilton Hinkle's price at the state, if you want a state
Yes.
contract, is higher than what you're doing because you're getting local
Yes.
bids, and they know that they don't have to do, like, you know, all the ready up and all the things.
True.
Right.
And you gotta be certified, pre-certified, qualified by the state to put this down.
Motion from Rob Jones, second from Rick Hostetler. Any other question or comments? JR, I appreciate all the work you do.
Yes, sir.
And the court does as well. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Judge, on that note of repaving, they started to repave, the state has started repaving Ironworks Road. I think it's going all the way from Midway Road to 460. That work began. I know you've gotten complaints about that, so
No.
I just want to let the court know that.
No, I appreciate that information, and that's music to my ears, Mr. Wallace. Music. With that said, number 8, Mr. Perry, Stamping Ground Community Event Request.
And this, again, comes as the past 2 years. It's from a citizen request, not really the city of Stamping Ground. I make that clear. It's the people wanting to set up for the farmer's market again in that little county lot that's in front of Jeff Thompson Drive. Had people reach out to me as we're doing it this year. I think the couple people that volunteered to try and help do it this year, because obviously I can't do a lot. They're looking at maybe doing it every other week instead of every week, or maybe just once a month. We just don't have a lot of traffic goes through down there. They figure if we can set it more infrequent, they'd have more people come. So it's just asking for that again, and of course, I assume it would be, if you do approve, it would be the same waiver system. You know, where we sign a waiver, anybody that sets up to take liability.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Yeah, that's fine. Just modify it for this year.
No, it sounds good to me. State, did we do a motion last time to approve that?
So, and then he submitted, is it insurance or an agreement or something afterward?
The waivers. That,
Yeah, that's what I had drafted yesterday. I was wondering if we didn't do it.
So any vendor just does the waiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jared had sent it to me, and I sent them, as they came in, if a new vendor came in, I got them filled out that night and sent it in by email.
Right.
I guess my only question, when will we have this schedule? Like, when would we know if it's once a week or once a month or whatever?
I played with you all say it's okay to find out with her what she wants to do. Plus, I got to go back to the city commission for them to waive the business license. We got looking at our ordinances, and in past years we thought they could waive, like farmers market. We do have in our business where they're exempt business license, and we thought that would be the entire season. When we got looking at our business licenses, they can only waive a business license for each specific date. So we have to set a calendar to go with them and ask them if they'll waive those dates for business license for vendors, which we always do because, you know, we have kids that set up. We have kids that do stores and kids that do crafts and things like that.
Sure.
So as soon as I can, I'll get it back to you.
Okay.
I don't believe that there was any interruption with service from EMS because it's over off to the side. And
we also put signs up.
Yeah.
The first year we asked, they expressed the worry that people would block, so we did go get signs and put up to leave one lane of traffic open at all times. And there's some more signs that kind of as a citizen, but we're looking at possibly for the tornado shelter, which if I can say, I know it's a little bit off the community event, thank you to Mike Hennig and them. Thank you all for the tornado shelter. I mean, the sense of comfort for the people that use that and show up. I mean, having lived through 74 and lived through one 2 years ago, took my roof off. I mean,
no,
thank y'all for that. Thank you for expanding them.
Both the Lyle Road shelter and the Stamping Ground shelter, I think Mike has data that reflects that those are being well used, and I think very thankful and grateful to have those, and appreciate the court's support on that. And JR just put up additional signage.
Oh, nice.
That's right there on the road.
I had no order. It will be put up in the next week and a half.
Okay, I'm sorry, I got myself ahead of myself.
Right on 227.
But
nice.
double-sided, that really shows that the shelter is back there. So, no, thank you for acknowledging that, and we're thankful that we can do it to help the citizens of the community. Rob Jones, you got any questions? Or
No, I'd make a motion.
Make a motion.
That's a little thing for Stamping Ground, gets people out a little bit.
Second from Dwayne Ellison. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Sounds good to us.
Thank you.
Number 9, EMS promotion.
Yes, good evening, Judge, Magistrates. Before I make the formal recommendation, I just want to take a moment to inform you that we had 13 internal applicants for the position. We had 6 interviews to be conducted for the opportunity. And I just want to say we're very fortunate to have had so many great internal people that were interested in this opportunity. So the positive thing is we get to tell one person some really good news. We have to tell 12 people that they weren't selected, unfortunately. So anyhow, but I'm here to recommend on behalf of Chris Runyon that John Hobbs be promoted from paramedic to captain effective May 24th, 2025, which is this coming Saturday. His new pay rate will be $20.93 an hour. John has over 7 years of experience working in Georgetown Scott County EMS. He's also worked as a volunteer with the Stamping Ground Fire Department, and we really think he's going to be a great fit for the position, and we look forward to what he accomplishes for us in the months and years ahead. So I don't know if Chris has anything else he wants to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask John to be with us tonight. You may remember him, seeing him not too long ago. He's one of the first graduates from our paramedic class, so we're proud of that. But he has been just a tremendous informal leader for us, going above and beyond with our special operations team. So I wanted to bring him up and introduce him to you guys personally. We're proud of him and really looking forward to this promotion, if you approve it.
I think Rob Jones mentioned he'd like to make a comment.
Being from Stamping Ground, I've watched John grow from the volunteer fire department, watched him get into this EMS. He hasn't given up. He's a hard worker. He stays at it, you know, even though when the money wasn't that good, he stayed there. He's earned it. I'm so proud of him to see him come from Stamping Ground to be a member of Stamping Ground. He's a great community asset for Stamping Ground. So
Let's give him a
I
hand.
really appreciate it.
We're glad to have you, and we're grateful for your service and everything EMS does, the training, the work that goes in. We're really appreciative and proud of what you bring to the table and what our EMS does for our community. Any other comments from magistrates?
I'd like to make that motion for a second.
So we have a motion from Rob Jones, and we have a second from Rick Hostetler. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very, very much. Congratulations. That leads us next to a discussion. Don Hawkins is here with us. Don, would you like to join us up here at the podium? Well, in conversations with Don, there is a need. There's a need in the community for Saturday and Sunday inspections, and in an effort to cover our costs, and then also, compensate our staff adequately. What Don is proposing, because these inspections take some time, and if you're at an industrial or a manufacturing spot, you have to go, check in, get on a golf cart, ride to the column where the work's being done, and you're subject to people getting there. It's just it's very time consuming. So what Don is proposing is a $350 inspection for those jobs that are less than $30,000. Inspections for jobs over $30,000 will be 1.25 of the total electrical contract. Jeff has reviewed the proposal and feels like the proposed fees would cover our inspections for our employees if with a 4-hour minimum Saturday, Sunday time commitment. So employee will be paid for 4 hours minimum at the current hourly rate, and if the inspection takes more than 4 hours, the employee will be paid for hours actually worked. If the employee works the normal 40-hour work week Monday through Friday, when the hours worked on Saturday or Sunday will, in essence, be paid at the employee's OT rate. Just a reminder, pay week begins on Saturday with us. So there's one additional consideration. A Monday through Friday manufacturing industrial permit does not exist. It's just a commercial permit now, $60. And Don is recommending that we look at a similar change for an industrial manufacturing permit. The minimum fee permit less than $30,000 is currently for commercial $60. So if we went forward with this recommendation, jobs over $30,000 fees would be the same as they are today, 1.25. But anything below that, we would shift it to a $150 permit fee because of the time involved and such. Does anybody have any questions and comments about that proposed change?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So is it for each inspection? So if they want an inspection on Saturday, it's 350 for under 30,000 or 1.25 over. Is that just for that one inspection, or is this for everything?
Well, that would be 2 inspections if it's required. I mean, like if we had to come back and do a second inspection on it, that would cover 2 of the inspections. But the thing about a place like Toyota, it is so time consuming to get in. It's like trying to get into Fort Knox. And there's so much red tape you got to go through, and you got to put on safety equipment. You got to check in and out. You got to put locks on boxes. You got to do a combine report. And so there's a lot of paperwork there. So it involves a lot of time, not just to do the inspection, but just to get in and out of that place. But we can't, I thought we just couldn't just treat Toyota different from the rest of the plants, so we just kind of do across the board. And that's what, but we don't do any inspections on Saturdays and Sundays except Toyota. That's the only place we've ever done it, weekend inspections. And it's like Joe was saying and Jeff, that we're going to hopefully, if one of our guys have to go out there on the weekend, we felt like that a 4-hour minimum would be fair to pay that person to go out there, whether he's out there 1 hour or he's out there 4 hours. And if he can do 2 inspections or 3 inspections in that 4-hour period, you know, then that's good, because it's $350 per inspection, as long as the job is completed. And then during the weekday, then it would be $150 fee, and that's the same way there. You get 2 inspections.
I guess my question is more is like, because you talked about Toyota and it mentions TMMK in here. I figure most of their projects are going to be well over the $30,000. So like if they have like $1 million project, that's
they do.
$500 for $1 million. If they are like, you know, I know they're expanding now. It's probably I guess that's my question. If they're building a multi-million-dollar project, that 1.25 is just for that one inspection, which will be.
That's for the whole project. That's for the whole project.
For the whole project?
The whole project.
Okay.
So if he's got to go out 4 or 5 times, that one fee applies to those 4 or 5 times.
But
it's often broken up into, and Don, you know better than I do, but it's broken up into segments and such.
So if they're building something for $1 million, is it over the whole build or just the electrical contractor?
It's just the electrical part of it is the 1.25.
Right.
But that's for until the job is completed.
So it's just the electrical part of the contract, not the entire contract?
No, just electrical.
And this is what we've always done. For anything over 30,000, that's that 1.25.
Right.
That's
exactly
the
right.
standing
rate's the
rate
standard
right now.
thing, right?
Yeah,
The
that's
only
standard.
thing we're changing is Saturday,
Saturdays.
Sunday. If it's below $30,000, it's a $350 permit.
Yeah.
And then our staff is going to have that 4-hour minimum pay. Question.
I don't think you can pay for hours not worked.
Well, they're going to work.
I know, but the way it's being worded is a problem. We got to
Well-
quit talking about it in that manner, because we're saying if they work an hour, they get paid for 4 hours, or if they work 4 hours, they get paid for 4 hours.
The completion of the work, it could be on or off site.
Right. But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's, any inspection they're going to do, especially at Toyota, is going to take 3 to 4 hours just with paperwork alone.
Right.
and
It's
getting
just the
in
way
that.
we're talking about it is not.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
And we do not want to violate any wage and hour.
So David, do you think an hourly rate would be a better way to do it?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
No, I'm
that-
asking, like,
that-
is-
I'm sure that, like Dwayne
No,
said,
I
there-
don't think it would be, because you're dragging somebody out of their house on a Saturday, and it's awful to, I have to call my guys in all the time for emergencies, and I hate the fact that they have to go in, leave their families.
I agree with
something.
all of that, but I'm just saying if it's $60 an hour, right, for whatever, what we say is.
You would have to jack it up a lot. And plus, it's going to be fine. They're going to do 3 to 4 hours.
And I agree with David, though. I think that the way I read this, it's like we're paying them 4 hours if they're 30 minutes.
No, I don't.
That may not be likely, but that's
never.
Well, hold on. I'm not saying that's what I agree with. I'm just saying how we're talking about it needs to be. Not saying if they work an hour, they get paid for 4 hours. They are working 4 hours. By the time they do all their inspections, by the time they do all their reports and everything, just being clear on that.
Yeah.
That they're not getting paid for work they're not doing.
You're talking about this, because it says that they will be paid 4 hours minimum.
Right.
So they're required to be
by
there
the-
4 hours?
By the time they get there, go through the process, then fill out all the paperwork, then you also have to do the uploading of it. Like those industrial manufacturing permits take 4 hours or I mean that's what
Or more.
or more.
Yeah.
I mean, all I was trying to indicate to you all that our staff was going to, we're not going to, they're not going to be paid for work they don't do because the work that they're going to do is going to take 4 hours or more. So, don't want to have any confusion on that. Questions or comments?
Don't, I think in years past, don't they only work 35 hours a week?
Our office, they work 40 hours.
So they get paid for 40 hours?
Yes. I'm on a 35 hour, but the other three are on 40 hours.
Okay.
Just because of demand.
Yeah, exactly right, yeah.
But isn't it like 8 to 4 or something?
7:30 is when you're.
Well, they get there at 7:30 and start answering the phone and doing paperwork, and then 8 o'clock the door opens.
So I've been waiting too long to call.
You've been waiting too long.
That sounds like the man.
That's exactly right. That's why you're last on the list.
I just remember y'all talking about 35 hours in the past.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that was clear on here, that would be overtime for them.
Yeah.
When they do go out there, so.
Don, in years past, we've always voted on a table. Your fees are in like a table.
Right.
Or will you be creating a new one?
Yes, we will. It depends on what the court wants to do. If we're going to create this new fee schedule for industrial manufacturing plants, we would create a new sheet for that.
One more
So
question.
you're amending the fee schedule to reflect a new, industrial manufacturing fee.
No, it's the weekend thing that's really generated this whole discussion pretty much.
Yeah.
So opening this up, Don, you're opening it up to all the factories, all the industrial places.
Yes, all of them will
Do you
be
think that's
subject
gonna-
to the same thing. But like I said, we've never done any inspections on the weekends at any other plant but Toyota.
Do you think that's going to open it up to where you're really going to be working a lot of hours every Saturday? I don't want the guys to get burned out, working
I don't
all these
know.
Saturdays.
I don't even know if it's.
Aren't you already doing it, though? Aren't you already having to do it?
You talking about weekends?
Yeah.
We do a few on the weekend right now.
But
It's picking up because of some of the model changes they're going through right now and the solar farm and the paint building coming up. So things are starting to pick up, and they told us there's going to be more. A lot of it is maintenance work on the weekends.
Right.
It's not big jobs, it's just small jobs, because it's repair stuff that they
you're not
do
having to
during the
inspect
week.
that.
Yeah.
So the conversation that Don and I went and met with Jeff Clockey from Toyota and sat down and talked, and with the paint shop being built, with the ongoing changes to their platforms and the maintenance work that they have to do on a Saturday or Sunday to get production back going on Monday morning, that's where this is a necessity. And adding this industrial manufacturing permit along with a Saturday fee, then that's the change.
I'm just worried if Utech, H.E. Ford, some of the other ones start picking it up. Are they going to be like, well, we'll just wait till Saturday and have Don come do it on Saturday?
It's probably less expensive, but it's
it'd be
less
a lot
expensive.
easier.
Keep production going, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be a lot easier.
and if it seems to ramp up, then we'll have to adjust. So, Rick,
So how long have y'all been inspecting? I know at one time, years ago, they had their own inside, or they had certified employees or something?
They had an employee inside that got certified through the state to do these type of maintenance inspections. And as of, I think, probably January 1 or something like that, he retired from doing that. So Toyota came to us. We didn't go to them. They came to us and asked if we could handle these extra inspections that Mr. Cook was doing. And I felt like that we could.
Yeah.
And I talked to Joe about it, and he felt like if we could handle it, we could, that we would. So that's kind of where we are at today.
It seems like several years ago, especially when I was first on the court, that they had 3 or 4 people in-house.
Yeah, I think they had 2's the most that I can ever remember that they
It seemed
had.
like one time we approved 3 different, but none of those folks are still there anyhow. Doesn't
No,
matter.
none of them.
Right.
But we've always done all the new construction out there. It's just this maintenance stuff on the weekends that we didn't do, or during the week, during production.
I mean, it's a great opportunity for them to make more money, pull more money in the office, that's for sure.
No, and our understanding is they might be looking at an internal staff member coming back and doing what Mr. Cook did for maintenance, but the comment was they did not want to, overload this person, so that's why they would need additional support from our services. Are there any other questions, and would there be a motion to approve the recommended change?
I'll make a motion.
Motion. Second from Kelly. Any other questions or comments?
One other thought.
Yes,
So
sir.
you'll just bring back the new pay schedule like Stacy was talking
Yeah.
about after.
We'll share a new one.
Perfect.
Yes. Any other? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Don. Rural Land Management Board request. I shared a request from the Rural Land Management Board for a $5,000 allocation for support for operations, operating fees and such. And I shared that. Talked to Rick about it. Rick, you have any comment about that?
I do, and myself and Mr. Corman have, I guess we've served on that since we got on the court. First thing I want to say is no matter what we do going forward, there's already been a certain amount of land PDR'd, okay, in the county. So I think we're responsible in perpetuity to have this Rural Land Management Board set up, because Mr. Dawson, I don't think he's here.
No, he's not.
But Mr. Dawson, in particular, goes out at least annually to each of these properties and goes through a checklist, checks with the owners, sometimes it's a new owner, and makes sure that everything's according to the PDR. And so that costs money. And of course, it costs operations money, and that's all in that email. And I know that each year that we meet, that their balance has been going down. So I think the recommendation is for $5,000 for this year. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So I'm willing to make that motion.
So we have a motion, second from Kelly. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all. That leads us to number 12, Ordinance 2501, first reading budget. And just to remind everyone that this is our first reading. If the court approves this first reading, we will send this draft document to DLG. DLG reviews, then the Department of Local Government, for those acronym folks that struggle like me. The Department of Local Government reviews, and then essentially will notify us that we can move forward with a second reading. Michelle, would you like to add anything? Stacy, would you like to add anything to that process? We'll send it in the morning. After the second reading, it does have to be advertised to become official.
It'll actually be advertised after this reading for the second reading.
Okay.
And it'll be advertised again
For adoption. So there's been a lot of work that's gone into this. We had budget work session that was a lengthy meeting, and we had discussion at our last business meeting. I think this is a great document. We've got a lot of work into it, and it reflects continued support for law enforcement, first responders, public safety. We do not have as much capital money committed in this budget. The hope is that we wrap up our capital projects at the new sheriff's office and the new EMS station, get those buttoned up, and we kind of spend next year, just essentially providing services and concentrating on, making future plans. We do have some money in there for planning for quality of life projects with Parks and Rec possibly. We have new funds in as well that reflect commitment to possibly funding a project with the Rural Land Management Board on the Purchase of Development Rights Program. So a lot of work's gone into this. Like I mentioned earlier, additional commitment of some funds for paving roads. Fire department, this budget will pay for 2 pumpers that have been on order for almost 36 months. And those 2 pumpers will be delivered in the spring. We're hoping to have a ladder truck and another pumper that's been ordered and already paid for delivered here around Christmas. Is that correct, Chief Ward? So the ladder truck in September. As I said, this budget reflects support for public safety and a lot of thought's gone into it. So questions or comments, and then I'll have Cam do the first reading.
Just a quick comment. Like you said, the capital funds, because of the 2 projects are coming to a conclusion, but this budget still, in my view, speaks to the growth of our county, because there are several, Sheriff's Department, several departments were increasing staffing, and in my view, it's needed, and probably some of the other departments could use help too, but I think it speaks to the growth, but I also think it speaks to how we're trying to manage it and stay within our lane. But because funding all these departments and with this added employees, they're needed to help manage our county, and I think that's positive.
I appreciate that. Now, I'll add to that this budget reflects, as we discussed at the work session, it'll be 3 additional contract SROs. And if you look back even 2 years ago to how many SROs we have, and it's a partnership with the school system and the city as well, because the city provides SROs for schools as well. But, I've said it before that public safety doesn't stop at the schoolhouse door. And, I'm very proud of the work that the court has done in the partnership, because it is a true partnership. So those 3 contract SROs, we're adding 1 patrol deputy that will concentrate on traffic unit, and then additional funds that when the other deputy is not at his school SRO duties, that he will do traffic duty as well. That was that additional funds where we're moving a gentleman that's a current contract deputy into a contract SRO job. So I think we're getting good money, good bang for our buck there. And then on the fire department side, this budget reflects adding the fire marshal position that we discussed at the work session. The fire marshal position, when you look at the number of potential inspections that need to be done that John shared on the Zoom at the work session, I think this is a commitment to being proactive, as John said, trying to be proactive and prevent issues. So I think it's a great thing for us to do.
I think we're adding new staff also at P&Z, right?
The P&Z, yes.
That kind of goes back to Mr. Tingle, part of his discussion, concern about
Yes.
an RV park. That's just one concern. I mean, there's so much going on there.
100%. That, of course, that's funded through an interlocal agreement.
Right.
But the budget does reflect funds to fund 1 engineer and 2 planners, additional positions that reflect the growth of the community and support to try to support that agency at Planning and Zoning Commission. I'm glad you pointed that out, Rick. I appreciate it. Comments down here? Questions?
I'd like the playback speed of Cam to be at 1.5.
All right. With that said, Cam, will you read it?
Budget of Scott County fiscal year. Ordinance 2501, budget of Scott County, fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026. Summary analysis of appropriations. In the general fund, general government, $13,132,576. Protection to persons and property, $18,378,439. General health and sanitation, $1,341,450. Social services, $777,031. Recreation and culture, $2,180,813. Airport operations, $80,000. Debt service, $342,110. Capital projects, $580,500. Administration, $14,391,516. So total general fund is $51,204,437. The road fund, roads is $4,179,060. Capital projects is $350,000. Administration is $1,898,720. So total road fund is $6,427,780. The jail fund, protection to persons and property is $3,974,383. Social services is $100,000. Administration is $2,109,935. So total jail fund is $6,184,318. LGEA fund, protection to persons and property is $216,408. Roads is $200,000. So total LGEA fund is $416,408. Federal forfeiture fund, general government is $3,685. Administration is $500. So total federal forfeiture fund is $4,185. ABC regulatory fund, general government is $30,700. So total in that fund is $30,700. Opioid settlement fund, social services is $310,000. Administration is $100,000. So total in the opioid settlement fund is $410,000. The county clerk storage fund, general government is $205,000. Administration is $100,000. So total in that fund is $205,100. McCracken fund, social services is $2,000. So total in that fund is $2,000. Hospital trust fund, social services is $2,000. So total in that fund is $2,000. Capital improvement fund, debt service is $1,111,000. Capital projects is $5,210,580. And administration is $501,000. So total in capital improvements fund is $6,822,580. So the total budget appropriations are total general fund $51,204,437. Total road fund $6,427,780. Total jail fund $6,184,318. Total LGEA fund $416,408. Total federal forfeiture fund $4,185. Total ABC regulatory fund $30,700. Total opioid settlement fund $410,000. Total county clerk storage fund $205,100. Total McCracken fund $2,000. Total hospital trust fund $2,000. And total capital improvements fund $6,822,580. So the grand total, all funds, is $71,709,508. And the first reading is today, May the 22nd, 2025.
Questions or comments?
I might have done it slightly faster than last year. Yeah.
Kelly?
Make a motion.
A motion from Kelly Corman. Second from Ryan Pratt. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We'll move forward. That's one of that is the most important work that we do, and it is a very important requirement. New business. I do want to share Tracy Creek Construction this morning. I shared. Yes, I apologize. You wrote that on. Before I get to new business, there is an annual standing order that we need to do. before I get into any other comments, and I'd ask Cam to read the annual standing order. That I don't think that's productive. But this allows us to pay bills on an annual basis for utilities and payroll. Does not allow us to pay gasoline, though. And that causes a problem sometimes. Isn't that right, Michelle? But it does allow us to pay utilities and payroll.
Okay.
Go ahead, Cam.
All right, annual standing order to pre-approve certain recurring expenses pursuant to KRS 68.275, Section 3. The fiscal court may adopt an order to pre-approve the payment of monthly payroll and utility expenses. No other expenses shall be pre-approved pursuant to this subsection without the written consent of the state local finance officer. The fiscal court of Scott County, in accordance with state law, hereby orders recurring expenses for utilities, including telephones and salaries, be paid when due. And I assume all these numbers represent different expenses. It is hereby, they're like numerical designations.
For payroll and utilities.
Okay. It is hereby acknowledged the above standing orders shall expire after July 1st of each fiscal year, and no more payments designated in the standing order shall be pre-approved unless a new order is adopted by the fiscal court of Scott County according to the provisions of KRS 68.2753.
Any questions? So moved by Rick Hostetler, seconded by Dwayne Ellison. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I do want to share, I attended Scott County Hall of Justice Progress meeting, agenda meeting today. For the past 30 days, what's been going on down there? Basement foundation and walls been worked on, under slab MEPs, set small area of steel, basement wall waterproofing. They finished the caissons that are in the front half of the building, and they started backfilling the first floor. The next 30 days, they're going to finish foundations and walls in the basement. They're going to finish all under slab MEPs. They're going to set steel on the first floor, the CMU in the basement. Help me with the CMU. I forget.
Concrete masonry unit.
There you go. I knew you could help me. Set door frames in
Concrete
basement.
blocks.
Rough-in electric and plumbing in the CMU walls. Stone and grade basement. Pour basement slab. And pour grade beams on the first floor. That building is moving forward, and Trace Creek is doing a good job of managing the project. And I would encourage any of you all to stop by there and check in with the superintendent if you have a chance. I have no other new business right now. Horsey 100 or Horsey 500 is in town this weekend, so I encourage everyone to drive safely and share the road. Also, you've got farmers out there planting. Share the road there and be careful. Any magistrates have any new business? Chad Wallace.
We had a RV ordinance meeting on Tuesday. We've been meeting regularly, about once a month, sometimes twice a month. The moratorium is supposed to expire on June 23rd, I believe. The committee, this is kind of a heads up for the court. The committee is recommended, and Holden's going to be writing a letter that he'd like to see the moratorium extended 2 months. And we think here's the idea. The idea is if we're going to do this, let's get this thing right the first time, and let's not have to come back and amend it. And so, just a heads up, we'll get that.
Would that be for June 13th to extend it out 2 months, hopefully?
From that date, but
Yeah.
we'll have time.
I'm
to
just
take
saying
that
we'll have a
action.
formal request on June 13th. We
Yes.
can address it.
Yeah, but I did want to let the court know that.
Thank you for that update, and thank you for your work to
Rob's on there too with
and
me,
I
so.
appreciate Rob's work as well. Anything else? New business?
Can I make a quick comment?
Quick comment from Cam
I
Culverson.
just want to acknowledge Sheriff Nettles. I noticed that today is 2 years since Deputy Conley passed, and just wanted to acknowledge that and tell you everybody's thinking about your department, and thank you, Caleb. So.
Second that for sure.
And
Thank
also
you, Cam.
all of our veterans for this Memorial Weekend, just
100%, Rob.
pay tribute to those.
Appreciate that. Any other new business
Hey,
or
Judge.
comments? Rick Costello.
I think I shared this email with you. I don't know if you sent it out to the rest of the court. I was contacted by a constituent about Senate Bill 63. That's that ordinance to allow ATVs, if they have, they got to be inspected. I've read the bill, but I can't remember all the details, but they kind of got to be street legal.
Yeah.
And I think that's going on in other counties. And the person that contacted me is the owner of MLS Power Sports. And so he's willing to come to our next workshop, and speak to that and talk about, because apparently, obviously, he lives in that world, and he's getting requests from local folks that are purchasing, I'm sure, off of him or whatever. So I just want to highlight that. That's Senate Bill 63 that just passed this last
You
session.
and I had mentioned that, but I'd also been had a message sent to me as well, and I sent information to Cam, and Cam's already reviewed the information. I think it would be wise to have the gentleman come on the first Friday
Well,
in
I
January.
think I forwarded you his email, and it'll have his address
I
and
will
stuff.
send him an email and invite him if he wants to come and make a request to the court to consider that, adopting that legislation.
Yeah.
And Judge, the city of Georgetown years ago adopted the golf carts, as long as you have lights and horns, on city streets. Now, they can't get on state roads, but they have to stay on city streets, and that's already adopted by the city. And this has probably been 10 years or 15 years since we've had that. So this is similar just for county
So
roads.
Cam and I will share with the court the information we have, and then I'll invite a gentleman from MLS to come. Ryan Pratt.
No, I just say we're going to have to get four-wheeler parking at Kroger's now, and it's going to be insane.
It's on state road, you can't get there.
Get a few more deputies.
All right, is there any other business? Would there be a motion to adjourn? Motion from David, second from Kelly Corman. All those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you.